Good morning, Youngstown. This is a great day, full of celestial beauty, harmonic resonance, and gracious gratitude. This day has been waiting for you. It has been waiting especially for you, to embrace you, to guide you. This is the day we have been given. Let's not waste it. Please stand as you are willing or able, and join us in singing our first hymn in the Gray Hymnal, number 326, Let All the Beauty We Have Known.
Let all we celebrate with singing hearts the loveliness of sky and earth, the inspiration of the arts, the miracle of every birth. Life's music and its poetry surround and bless us through our days. For these we sing in harmony, together giving thanks and praise.
Good morning. My name is Michael Conder. We are so happy for you to be with us here today, whether it is here in person, on Zoom, Facebook, or later on YouTube. What a joy it is to be together. Our wonderful minister, Reverend Joseph, is away for Thanksgiving, so he asked me to share the pulpit today. Reverend Joseph is our called minister at UUYO. As minister, he has built on our church's legacy of community engagement and social justice in Youngstown, Ohio, through service as chaplain for the Youngstown Police Department and Clergy's Caucus Chair for Action, a grassroots community organization collective that demands social justice for residents of the inner city. Reverend Joseph has a Master's of Divinity from Union Theological Seminary in New York, where he served as chaplain at Rikers Island Jail and held a prestigious preaching fellowship at the First Unitarian Church of Cleveland, Shaker Heights. We have a couple of announcements for today that you can see on the back of our order of service. First, the Buddha's Enlightenment Celebration Retreat, which will be on Friday, December 5th from 7:30 to 9. We also have the Holiday Bake Sale happening next Sunday, December 7th at 12 p.m., right after service. And you can read more about that on the back of your order of service. In addition, we also have one extra announcement today. There are 2 tables full of treasures for our UUYO Holiday Silent Auction that will be happening downstairs right after service. You can look them over while you're enjoying coffee during coffee hour. Now I would like to invite our wonderful worship assistant, Clover Wagner, to deliver our chalice lighting.
Hello, good morning. I hope everyone had a wonderful day Thursday, whether they were with their family and friends celebrating Thanksgiving, or if not, I hope it was just a wonderful day for you. So since our theme is gratitude, there is a short poem that I wanted to read. I just found it on Pinterest, but I was scrolling for a while. I think I spent I don't know, it was like a half an hour. I was just searching through poems on Pinterest and Google, and none of them were resonating with me, but I liked this one. Her name is Tamara. Gratitude grows in the gentle glow of autumn days, in the golden light, the crisp air, and the quiet rhythm of slowing down. This season reminds us that even as things change, there is so much to be thankful for: warmth, connection, and the beauty that surrounds us. When we pause to notice the small blessings, our hearts expand and life begins to feel a little softer, a little richer, and a little more whole. So I was inspired to find a short poem about gratitude because I had my Friendsgiving yesterday with my friends. It was the 8th Friendsgiving in a row, the tradition that I started in 7th grade. And I was just inspired because being surrounded by all of my friends that I haven't seen for months since I've been away at college was such a beautiful experience. And we started a new tradition at our Friendsgiving yesterday. So one of our friends baked a pumpkin pie, and in the pumpkin pie, we all decided to cut out a little heart on a piece of paper, and we taped it to a stick, and we each wrote one accomplishment that we had in the year of 2025, and then we all shared our accomplishments with one another, congratulating each and every one of us, and then we put it in the pie, and we took a photo, and we just basked in our accomplishments. So with that, I just hope you all look around, and I hope you enjoyed your Thanksgiving and you looked around at your friends and family and you just said, I'm so grateful for all of you guys and all that you accomplished. So with that, I'm going to do the chalice lighting.
We now invite you to take a moment to greet your neighbors, especially those whom you may not recognize. If you're tuning in on Zoom, don't be shy and say hi to the others in the group chat.
Hello.
Hi there. I just posted the lyrics to the hymn as an experiment and not to comment on Andy's post. I know you're working really hard. Hello, Brandy. Hello, Adam. Hello, Elizabeth. And
Carlos in Meadville.
Hello. I'm
hi,
in Italy.
hi, Jenny.
Who's in Italy?
You're in Italy, Brandy? Or who's in it?
Somebody.
Okay. You're in Italy, Brandy? Well, all right. Well, okay. Well,
Anybody else having trouble hearing?
hello, Cindy. Hello, Aaron. Hello.
Hearing
Who else can I see here? Hello, Elizabeth.
my
Hello,
sister
Kendra.
Sandy might be there.
Hello, Kendra and company.
You'll have to put an end to it. You'll have to put an end.
I know,
Okay.
but like my service is always run short, so
we're
I'm
like-
giving it a little extra time to
We'll
breathe.
let 'em-
Oh, yes, that's a good idea.
bask in the family and friends.
It's nice to see you again. It's been a while.
Thank you. Yeah, I go back right after this, but then it's just finals, and then
How
I'll be
far
back
is it?
for a month,
Where
an hour and a half.
Oh. Yeah.
Yep. I know my very
Pittsburgh area?
No, Wayne County, Ohio. You know,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Hello, Cindy.
Hi.
Hi.
See, you don't get to see the pictures if you
Okay,
sit
I
there.
guess
You
they're
gotta
gonna
go
shut
down
me off.
there.
Shut us off now.
Okay.
Our story for today is Friendship Soup, written by me. Deep in the autumn forest, a chilly wind rustled the golden leaves. Bear lumbered into the clearing, rubbing his empty belly. I sure wish I had something warm to eat, Bear sighed. Fox, clever and curious, trotted by. Nothing to eat? That is a problem, she said. Bear nodded. I've got no carrots, no berries, no honey, just a big iron pot. Fox's eyes sparkled with an idea. You know, Fox said, I once heard of a magical recipe called stone soup. All you need is a stone and a pot. A stone? Bear said, puzzled. I've got lots of those. Then he rumbled off toward the river. Bear found a smooth, round stone near the river and ran back to plop it into his pot. Just as he returned, Rabbit hopped over, twitching his whiskers. What are you making? He asked. Stone soup, Fox announced proudly, as Bear popped the stone into the pot. Rabbit tilted his head. Soup from a stone? That sounds impossible. Only if we don't help, Fox smiled. Do you have anything to add? Rabbit thought hard, then smiled. I do have a few crunchy carrots. He scampered off. Then he returned with a large bunch of carrots. Bear filled the pot with water. Rabbit added the carrots. The three friends watched as the steam began to rise. Soon, Squirrel tumbled down from a branch. What's cooking? It smells cozy. Stone soup, everyone said. Squirrel blinked. I don't have much, but I do have a handful of acorns. Perfect, Fox said. Crunchy adds flavor. In went the acorns. Elk slowly wandered in. I heard talk of soup. His antlers shimmered with dried herbs from the meadow. I can share some of these, he said, gently dropping them in. Hedgehog rolled by, carrying mushrooms on her spines. They're a bit pokey, she said shyly, but mushrooms make soup lovely. Everyone cheered as she added them carefully. Raccoon, always curious, showed up with paws full of shiny things. I don't have food, he said sadly, only these pretty pebbles. Bear smiled. You brought yourself, and that's plenty. Raccoon grinned and stayed. Next came Skunk, sniffing proudly. I have wild onions, he said. I picked them carefully. Smell them, not me. Everyone laughed kindly, and the onions went in. Owl fluttered down from her tree. I have wisdom, she said softly. Soup tastes better when everyone shares. She sprinkled in some leafy sage. The soup bubbled and gurgled, golden, fragrant, and hearty. Bear took the first taste, eyes shining. It tastes like friendship, he said. Everyone gathered around as the warm soup was shared in hollowed-out gourds and acorn bowls. They laughed, sipped, and told stories under the twinkling autumn stars. Owl hooted gently. The stone didn't make the magic. We did. And that night, all through the forest, animals dreamed warm dreams, not of stones or soup, but of kindness, sharing, and the joy of making something together. The end. If you will please join me and open up your order of service to the part where it says covenant, and we'll read the covenant together. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And next I'll come down and we'll sing our kids out. That is also in your order of service.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now. now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
November's Give Away the Plate is for CASA Mahoning Valley. CASA trains volunteers to advocate for children who have experienced abuse and neglect. Court-appointed special advocate is what CASA stands for, and the volunteers are community members of all walks of life. After comprehensive training, volunteers advocate for a child's best interest in court. These are local children who experience abuse and neglect. Many are in the foster care system. CASA volunteers can help make a life-changing difference for children experiencing abuse and neglect. A child's advocate is often the one consistent in their life. If you wish to make an offering to support CASA, please indicate this on your check or envelope. Thank you for your generous spirit. Now, a reading for offering today. The reading is Generosity of Spirit by Victoria Weinstein. The purpose of the church is to encourage all who gather there to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of all the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting church and its many ministries. The gifts of the congregation will be most gratefully received. Will the ushers please come forward? The first reading is For All That Is Good in Our Lives by Deborah Hafner. May we whisper thank you for all that is good in our lives. Thank you. May we shout thank you for the abundance of blessings. Thank you. May we feel thank you, thank you, thank you, deep within our hearts and around us right now. May we be thankful down to our bones for this time together. May we take the time to feed each other, take care of each other, appreciate and trust each other, and say thank you. It is the only prayer we'll ever need. This prayer was inspired by the words of Meister Eckhart. If the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. And this, sorry.
During these next few moments of silent meditation, I encourage you to reflect upon what you are grateful for. What small blessings have you been overlooking? What would your past self envy about your present? There's always something to be thankful for if you dig deep enough, no matter how big or how small. Our second reading this morning is Celebrating Abundance by Julian, I'm going to butcher this name, but Julian Hamika Soto. And it can also be found inside your order of service underneath the worship leaders. All that we are, together and individually, is part of the abundance of the universe.
We are made of stars. We are made of earth.
All that we have comes from earth, from the labor of those in our communities.
From the cities, farms, and oceans that enliven us, the world and those who live in it.
We are surrounded by blessing, by grace, and by possibilities.
We are reflected in every other human being.
We respect and honor one another's differences.
We celebrate our interbeing with abundance and the practice of generosity.
Come, let us worship together. Good morning again, and happy Thanksgiving to you all. I hope you all had a happy holiday. I am blessed today to share with you all on this very special Sunday. Thanksgiving was always my dad's favorite time of year. Many of you know my father was my closest spiritual leader, and I've spoken to you many times about him being a professor and a chemist. But first and foremost, he was a farmer. He was born, lived, and died on his beloved farm in New Springfield, Ohio, the very farm my sister and her family live on today, and where I celebrated Thanksgiving on Saturday. He loved his crops and his garden second only to his children. I think he loved Thanksgiving the most because it was at that time of year when everything had already been harvested, and now he was able to rest and share food with the people he cared about. He also loved to cook and showed how much he loved us through his acts of service. I am so grateful that I was able to have such a caring father. While reflecting on this month's topic of gratitude, I was remembering things my dad used to try and teach me about planting crops or a garden. I wasn't always the most receptive student. Having undiagnosed ADHD at the time, my mind would wander if I wasn't properly engaged. So when I was young, he explained, a seed is like a wish for a certain plant. We take that wish, we plant it, and we nurture it. And through patient cultivating and hope, the wish can be granted. Growing gratitude is much the same as growing any other plant. By planting the seeds of gratitude, we are communicating to the universe what things we are most glad to have, the things we like the most, the things we wish for more of. And by growing and nurturing these seeds, our gratitude grows and attracts even more abundance and gratefulness. What does that make us? We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum. But before we begin planting, we must first understand what gratitude is. Gratitude is more than simply the quality of being thankful or the readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. Scholars have broken down gratitude into 4 steps, or 4 A's: awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance, and action. Awareness, the first step, is to identify and notice the good things in your life. Acknowledgement is to recognize and value these good things that you have identified. Acceptance is to actively embrace the good in your life. And finally, action is to express that gratitude. At Thanksgiving, I feel we are too quick to focus on the first and last steps. We're asked, what are you thankful for this year? And our minds scramble. We think, what's something that sounds good to others? Awareness. And then once we think of something, we just jump straight to saying it, action, without giving it any time to take root. And by missing these steps, it can feel like good things just happen sometimes without having any control over them. But you can't grow what you don't plant. So how do we begin to grow our garden of gratitude? It starts with being grateful for where you are. You've heard the phrase, count your blessings. Well, that's just the beginning, the first step, awareness. Awareness, in our metaphor, is locating our seeds of gratitude. We must first identify the things in our lives that we are grateful for and wish to have more of. Love, happiness, passion, family, stability, career. By becoming aware of the things that you already have, no matter how big or how small they seem, it will give insight into the things that you value the most. This can often be the hardest part of the process. When we dwell on the bad things so often, we forget the good. Growing up, my mind always blanked at the Thanksgiving table when I was asked what I was thankful for. It's so easy to fall into the depressive parts of life and only see the bad. You're given so many bad seeds over your life, negative thoughts that have become rooted in your subconscious and sap away your energy or ambition. But once you start looking for your good seeds of gratitude, you may be surprised at just how many you have. This alone can help root out some of those weeds that you've grown. If you have trouble locating your seeds of gratitude, it is helpful to think about, I find it helpful to think about where my life was 5 years ago, or even 10 years ago. What was I wishing for then? What did I value then? Do I have any of those things now? 5 years ago, I was longing for love, acceptance, and understanding. Now, I have a loving wife who supports and understands me and loves me for being myself, and a church community that accepts me for who I am. These are beautiful seeds to plant with. Now that you've found your blessings, your seeds of gratitude, the next step in our cultivation process is acknowledgement. We must recognize and value these good things in our life, the joy they bring, the blessing these seeds are. We must understand why we are thankful for these things. By recognizing these good things and valuing them as precious, we can come to understand and appreciate what can come from these seeds. A farmer doesn't plant seeds that he doesn't understand. So now that we've found our seeds, our handful of wishes, we now want to plant and nurture them. Acceptance, our third step, is actively embracing that good. This is when we plant our seeds of gratitude into the fertile soil of our thankful hearts. We accept these good things as a part of ourselves and embrace them within our being. I feel as though we often see the bad things as something we are and good things as just something that happens to us sometimes. But in truth, it's quite the opposite. By accepting these good things as part of ourselves, we are inviting those things to grow within us. But as any good gardener will tell you, planting the seeds is only half the work. The next step comes cultivating crops to encourage the growth. This is the action phase, where you express your gratitude and nurture those seeds. This may be through words of affirmation and thanksgiving, as we often do on Thanksgiving, or literal acts of service, or perhaps through passing along the kindness or blessing to a stranger. Sometimes this can just be telling yourself, good job, you've come so far, and you deserve that. Some studies suggest that plants who are spoken to kindly grow better than those who are spoken harshly to. A kind environment will nurture growth, while negative words and energies can hinder their growth. And though that has yet to be scientifically proven, it is proven that speaking kindly to yourself, or self-compassion, has psychological benefits. These include improved emotional regulation, increased motivation, greater well-being, and reduced negative feelings. Gratitude is one of the greatest acts of self-compassion, bringing light to all the blessings in your life, reminding yourself of all the positivity you have in your life. Psychologically, the more frequently you engage in this cycle of gratitude, the more natural it will feel to do so. And the more frequently you do it, the faster and bigger your garden of gratitude will grow. In addition, it will help your garden of gratitude grow by focusing your energies on growing positivity in your garden and choking out the weeds of negative self-talk. You only have so much nutrition in your soil. Would you rather continue to give that energy to the bad seeds of negativity and grow weeds of doubt? Or give that energy instead to positivity and the seeds of gratitude and hope? Cultivating your garden can protect you from weeds. Focus on gratitude, and you will grow gratitude. But my metaphor does not stop there. What comes after you grow a garden? Harvest time, my dad's favorite time. By being patient and caring for our garden of gratitude, our plants will be bursting with abundance. As the law of attraction states, like energy attracts like energy. And as we have actively engaged in gratitude behaviors, and planted our wishes within our hearts, we have been attracting similar energies, and these seeds have been growing. Now we can reap the fruits of our labor. Psychologically, as we seek out more gratitude, our brains rewire themselves to seek out things to be thankful for, and we will see our blessings multiply through perception. In some cases, our situations may not change all that much, but by focusing on the things that make us happy and joyful, we start noticing even more things that make us happy and joyful. This garden of gratitude can help keep the sorrows and other bad things at bay. Nothing can stop the bad things from happening, but your garden can help remind you that bad things happen, but you are not those bad things. As Kristen Armstrong, Olympic cyclist, said, when we focus on our gratitude, the tide of disappointment goes out and the tide of love rushes in. Psychology is a powerful and scary thing. Many times, the very thing that are holding us back are the negative seeds that we have been cultivating in our hearts. We hear so much negativity from so many places. Teachers, comments online, strangers, even family. We hear them so much that we convince ourselves that they're true, so we plant them in our identities, growing weeds instead of food. These weeds sap at our soil of its new nourishment and make it even more difficult to cultivate joy. But you can fight those negative thoughts and pull those weeds. Prep your heart for a bountiful harvest, and it all starts with finding your seeds. Once you have cultivated and grown your garden of gratitude, you will begin to reap the rewards of your self-care and find yourself blessed beyond what you could have wished. What should you do with all this extra, Once you have cultivated and grown your garden of gratitude, you will begin to reap the rewards of your self-care and find yourself blessed beyond what you could have wished. But what should you do with this excess of gratitude and blessing you now feel? What do you do with all this extra food? You do what my dad did every Thanksgiving. You share that bounty, that abundance with others. My father, of course, did this literally, but follow the metaphor. If you feel happy and joyful, you should share that happiness with others. Community is built on that kind of compassion. And one small act of paying the gratitude forward may even help someone else grow their own garden. One genuine thank you can cast a spell of generosity. It is especially important to be compassionate this year when everything is getting more expensive by the day. This holiday season may be lighter for most than usual, and if you are fortunate enough to be brimming with blessings, you should continue to cultivate your garden by paying it forward to those who are having a harder time than yourself. I've talked before about the psychology of how helping others can positively impact you, and gratitude works the same way. As the Avenue Q song says, when you help others, you can't help helping yourself. I wasn't much of a gardener myself. I don't really like to get dirty, and it's a lot of hard work. So, no, my favorite thing about gardening with my dad was, if we did a really good job the year before, there was a chance the following year that when we would go to plant seeds, that there would already be sprouts or volunteer plants growing from where the previous year's crops were. This always felt like a small miracle, a little less work and a lot more bounty. Albert Einstein once said, there are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is as though everything is a miracle. I like to try and think more like the latter, but it can be difficult. It can help, however, to redefine your definition of what a miracle is. As one of my favorite comedians, Kyle Kinane, put it, all a miracle is the world letting you know that it can still surprise you. This makes the world a lot more surprising. It can be a miracle to get a nice compliment from a stranger. It can be a miracle that you only hit one red light on the way to work. It can be a miracle when you hear the perfect song for your mood. A miracle is what you make it. Be grateful for the small miracles. They can grow to be wondrous. It's easy to fall into the despair that this world puts us in. But if we nurture and cultivate our garden of gratitude, the thicket of abundance can help protect us from the world's worries. Remember, we are farmers. Bum, 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 bum. Now please join me in prayer. Spirit of love, heavenly guidance, divine dungeon master, we thank you for your presence with us today. Please continue to be with us and guide us on our adventures and be with our parties into the morrow and beyond. Help us to grow gratitude with a thankful heart and hope for the future. May your growing light be with us always. Amen. And now, once again, I ask you to please stand as you are willing or able and join us in singing our final hymn in the Gray Hymnal, number 235, Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly. If my wife's tuning in, yes, it's after Thanksgiving, it's Christmas music time.
Deck the hall with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and glasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
We extinguished this flame, but not the light of hope, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we hold in our hearts until we meet again.
Feel free to join me in this last spell. As you venture on, remember the great fact: you are loved and never truly alone.